Yeah, come and join us at Sequoia Living REI, where we only talk about relevant topics, things that are important, things that help you grow, things that help you elevate. Come and join us. Yeah, we having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, we having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, we're having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah.
You know we bring that quality.
What's going on,
What's
everybody?
up, everybody? What's up?
Yes, we are back with another episode of Conversations with SNL.
Yep, I'm Seth.
And I'm Lashia.
And together,
we make Sequoia Living REI.
Let's go, people.
Yes. Today, we want you all to meet Angel Miller.
Angel.
A successful real estate investor and transaction coordinator with years of experience under her belt. As an acquisition manager for a prominent real estate group, Angel has played a vital role in the group's success. With her expertise and skills, she has bought close to $1 million worth of real estate without investing a single dime of her own money in the industry and has found immense success in it. Angel is also a host of The Roundtable with James and a co-host of the House of Cards book club with Carlin and Jesse. What sets Angel apart is her willingness to help new investors. She loves to share her knowledge and experiences with others. She's always happy to lend a helping hand. Angel's insights and guidance have helped many new investors achieve their goals and build successful careers in the real estate industry, including us. We all thrive. We are thrilled, to have Angel as a guest on our podcast, and we can't wait to learn more from her wealth of knowledge and experience. Everybody, welcome Angel. Angel, welcome.
What's up, Angel?
Thank you. Gosh, y'all make me sound like somebody I don't even know.
We know you, Angel.
We know you.
Yep.
Yes, we are truly honored today.
I tell you, sometimes you just get so busy in the day-to-day and, doing this and doing that. You don't take the time to look back and see all the things that you have accomplished over a while. To hear you say some of those things out loud was kind of like, wow, I have.
Yes.
Accomplishment.
Yes.
Accomplishment.
That's you.
Own them.
Yeah. So, I'm going to own that. Thank you, Seth.
Yep. All right, well, let's go. We're going to, of course.
This is our honor.
Yep. So we're going to get into it. We're going to pick your brain, see what you got for us today. All right. So, can you tell us about your journey into the real estate investing and how you've been able to buy close to $1 million worth of property without using your own money?
Oh, yeah. It was quite an adventure, too. Actually, I started back in 2019. Started seeing... I was just in a point in my life. My kids were getting older, and I've always been employed in the corporate world, and had some retirement and things like that. But I know it's nothing I wanted to live on. I knew that when my kids were done, out of the house, I wanted to travel. I just had a lot of things that I still wanted to do. So I started looking at ways to increase my retirement savings originally. And that kind of led me down a good and not so good path. I happened upon real estate investing, which of course is a great path.
Yes.
But in my search for how do I jump in here and get started, because I'm an action taker, so I'm not going to sit around and ingest videos for hours at a time. I'm going to get the gist of it and I'm jumping in. I'm definitely better caught than taught. So that kind of got me in a little bit of trouble, though, because along the way there's a lot of people out there, a lot of gurus that tell you that you're going to make a lot of money
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I did, in that time, I did come across one group in particular, and they just had a good community. I liked the people, I liked the coaches, and they did start to teach me some things that I wasn't sure about. Some marketing tips and how to get qualified leads, things like that. So they got me on the right path, but it still wasn't taking me in the direction where I was making money. It was giving me a lot of good information and some of those foundational things that you have to do to start into real estate investing, but it wasn't getting me to the money making part of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I happened to run into a Sub-2 student. For those people who don't know what Sub-2 is, it's really just a branding for Pace Morby method. He has a group of students, and there was one locally who I talked to at our local RIA, and I started to talk to him, and then started kind of looking into creative financing, Pace Morby, and that opened up just a whole different kind of community to me through what he does, these things called elephant challenges, and I entered one of those and went through it and ended up teaming up with these great people along the way. A couple of his accountability leaders, the one here in Louisville was also an accountability leader at that time with the multifamily challenge, but he is also the group that I acquisition for. So I do acquisitions for that gentleman and his company here in Louisville, and that's where my money came in. I started to really kind of pull in money that way, and
Right.
then I, had matched up with Chris James and Jesse Stanton through the Elephant Challenge back, sometime in, I don't know, was it 21, 22, and they opened me up to this whole different kind of community where people are just there to love on you and help you. Whether you're one of Pace's Sub-2 students or not, they're there to help you and get you, help you get those deals under contract and get them sold. It just really kind of opened up my way of thinking about how acquisition and disposition deals. And along the way, I was taught by Jesse Stanton. He also has his own coaching company, the Growth Company. He is just starting, but he's been coaching us for free for a long time. And one of the things that he said to me that kind of really stuck with me was he made me read a book called Who Not How, and that has just opened everything up for me, because there were so many things that I kept thinking I can't do this because I don't know how, I don't have the money, I don't, there were all these I can't kept coming up, and he got me to understand it's really okay if you cannot physically do this right now. Say you don't have the money for this deal, who does?
Yeah.
You could say, Angel, who does? Who has the resources that you need to get you where you need to go? So that really just blew my mind and just really started to open up all kinds of possibilities for me. So from there, learning who, not how, to get things done, I did start to acquire properties. I do have an Airbnb now in Tampa. It's growing really well. Actually, it's already booked all the way through the summer.
Wow.
It's gorgeous. About a $500,000 property. It's gorgeous. I don't see it going anywhere but up. It's just a beautiful place. You guys have to check it out. Go down to
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And I acquired my first Subject 2 property, which we actually haven't decided on our disposition yet, because there's actually so many exit strategies with this one that we could use. We could do, lease option. We could wrap it and sell it to an end buyer on a seller finance. But we're really where it's located. It's located close to Fort Knox, so it's right in between Louisville, Elizabethtown, and there's a lot of big companies and things. It's right next to Fort Knox, of course, the base. So we're going to go into the midterm rental on it and rent it out for insurance companies. People that come in, executives that come in and need 3 or 4 months at a time. They pay, $2,000, $3,000, sometimes $4,000 a month for those things. So,
wow.
So I have, of course, wholesaled a bunch of deals. But now I'm uh, really just concentrating on both. I want to
Yeah.
keep wholesaling because you want that cash infusion into your business. It takes money to make money. I don't care what anybody says. Don't let anybody
Yeah.
take you do anything for free. Um, and that kind of leads me into how you get properties. I've got everything I've got with no money out of my pocket.
And that's what we're looking for.
The who, not how. There are
OPM.
there are ways to structure deals where you can bring in equity partners. You absolutely there are, and people say they're not. There are deals out there where you can do them creatively with no money down, no money out of your pocket. That again. If you're just starting out, the best advice that I could give is get into a community where they're going to teach you these things. They're not going to charge you an arm and a leg just to show you how to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And you should really be able to, the community that you join should resonate with you. You should truly feel like part of that community and it's fruitful. Okay, because I made that mistake. I was in part of a community and I was very happy. I loved the people in the community and the coaches in the community. It just wasn't fruitful for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was more like going to an after school club, learning some things, I was having a good time and all those things, but it wasn't putting any money in my pocket. And that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to make money. So if you're not part of a community that is also, you're enjoying and learning and doing all those things, but it's also not fruitful, then you're in the wrong community. So,
definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love how, despite the beginning having so many hurdles, your tenacity to just keep going. And that's what I just hear resounding. It's just keep pushing, keep going, no matter how hard it is.
Finding ways, finding a way here, finding a way there.
You do, you learn. Everybody's got a story,
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I do love. I love to hear other people's stories because it reminds me. I can't tell you how many times I was like, F this, I'm out of here. I can't take this no more. I have worked hard all my life, like I said, in the corporate world, and I never missed my bills. I paid my bills on time. I always had extra money. If I wanted to go on vacation, if I wanted to go to the casino and blow my money, I could have. I never had money issues. But all of a sudden I found myself in a position where I'm eating ramen every day. So it can be just so frustrating. Not knowing where you're how you're going to pay your next bill or whatever. But that's what you said. That's it. You have to keep pushing. There's an old story about the guy who stopped 3 feet before go. And I reminded myself of that every time when I was just ready to just stop. Angel, what if that next person that you talk to comes through? What if? If? And I'm the type of person who would never forgive myself. I would think about it for the rest of my life. What if? So I can't. I have no choice but to move on. So, and I'm glad I did because now I'm seeing the fruits of that. So I would tell people, don't. I had one guy. He's in our House of Cards community, and he had reached out to me and for help, like how to. He'd never done any of this before, never wholesaled, never done anything, and so we talked a little while, and he was like, I could tell he kept running ahead of himself, and I said, look, kid. I need you to put your blinders on. This is what I need you to do. This week, I want you to put out 25 offers. Okay, I want you to comp these deals, get in touch with these realtors, put out 25 offers, and let's touch base at the end of the week. But if you didn't put in those 25 offers, lose my number.
Exactly.
Right?
You playing in.
And then I want you to know, he probably put in a lot more than 25, and we already have that same week. He and I we have a deal under contract that's going to close at the end of the night.
Wow.
Okay? And it was telling him, I'm going to give you my knowledge for free. I'm going to hold your hand, and I'm going to help you get from A to Z. If you do what I asked you to do. I'm not getting anything here. You're not paying me. I'm not sure. You're not paying me for my coaching. I'm giving you my time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this knowledge that I've earned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I'm willing
Exactly.
to give it to you for free because that is my payment. I love to see
Mhm.
people succeed. But
Yeah.
if you don't do what I asked you to do, lose my number.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he did.
Yep.
Boy, he went
Time is
all
money.
in. Like I said, within a week, we had a deal under contract. It's going to close at the end of the month down in Macon,
Wow.
Georgia. Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
And this
Sometimes you
kid
need
is
that
going to
extra
be
kick.
fired. He is going to
Yeah.
be fired. He is on it. But it's
Mm-hmm.
because he continues to do what I ask him to do, and he's
Right.
putting everything I say into action. He's not sitting
Mm-hmm.
around watching videos. He's not hoping some realtor's going to call him back. He's doing what I ask him to do, and he said we're going to buy a Lambo before the end of the year. And I'm like, hey,
That's
buddy,
right.
I'm up for it.
Yeah.
After we got that first one under contract, we're going to make $50K in the next 4 months, and I very much intend to do that for him. So,
That's all right.
you know,
I love
that's
it.
just, you have to take action in this business, and if you don't know how, then ask yourself who can help me
That's right.
on that next step, because you're not going to know everything ever.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's still
Yeah.
learning. So
Absolutely.
you know, there's no reason to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just
Mhm.
need to ask who.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Wow. Wow, you dropped so many jewels. I hope everybody has their pen and their pad out. I hope you got that book that she was telling you to read. If you
Yes.
didn't, make sure you rewind and listen for that book, okay?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
many jewels. Angel is just that, an angel. Yes. All right. So we're going to move right along to the next question. We're going to say, what role do transaction coordinators play in the real estate industry? And how do they help investors navigate the complex process of buying and selling properties?
Okay, so I want to preface this with saying I am fairly new to the transaction coordinator position. Okay, I'm working for a couple of great people who have much more experience than I do, because this is transaction coordinators. Although they handle some cash deals, it's mostly for creative type deals and more like novations, things like that. So a transaction coordinator is very important. They are the connector between the buyer, the seller, the title company, escrow agency, or attorney, whatever's taking care of it. They are They are creating paperwork. They are communicating everything that needs to be handled from the moment that escrow, even just before escrow, when the contract goes out to closing. Okay, so they are the person moving all these parts throughout that process. Okay, and communicating with every party that's involved in it. So yes, it's like a big spider web. I love it. It's like a big jigsaw puzzle that you're putting together.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it just for a couple of months now. And it is like fascinating to me. I mean, I'm learning something new every day. I am just amazed as I watch Chris and Gita, who I work for. They own Completely Creative Coordinators, or C3. And it is like insane to watch these two work. Like they're just, it's phenomenal. But they actually can help somebody from the beginning. Like a lot of new investors, I see this. We do consultations with them because they're not really sure how to structure a deal. Like I said, you do cash deals too, but a new person who is going into, say, purchasing something on sub 2 for the first time, there's a lot of parts to that. And they also don't understand what the best exit strategy is yet. Should I do an option here? Should I do a wrap? What does this look like? Should I just wholesale this deal to somebody who actually wants to, take it? So they help newer people kind of strategize and figure out what the best exit strategy is for the deal. They also will actually do all the documents, so document creation. They'll take because a new person, again, is also going to have a hard time oftentimes explaining, these sub 2 documents. There are pages and pages of these documents, because there's so many protections built in there for not just the buyer, but the seller too. So, it becomes overwhelming for a new person as they're looking through this document, like, oh my goodness, I don't think I even know what this means, So C3 can step in there and kind of help and say, we will walk your seller through it. We'll
Wow.
create the
Yeah.
documents. We'll get your seller on phone or Zoom or whatever is comfortable, and we will walk them step through the documents. And they always sign the same day when we do that. So
Wow.
it's a big deal because oftentimes if somebody's really not confident enough to get that contract signed, they'll
Mhm.
leave it with the seller because they really can't explain it well enough or
Right.
confidently enough
Yeah.
to get the job done.
Yeah.
So they'll let the seller and say, if you got any questions, let me know. Okay, that's really not what you want. That's where your transaction coordinators can come in and be a huge benefit to newer ones. Is they're going to get on the phone with your seller and they're going to walk them through that document and explain what every
Yeah.
section is and why
Wow.
it protects them and protects the buyer. So it's a really big deal. I mean, you can get in a lot of legal trouble when
Yeah.
you get into real estate contracts, and having someone there that knows that they've created that contract for you, so we know it's a valid contract. All the protections are there. Nobody's fudged with anything. Nobody's
Yeah.
omitted
Yeah.
anything. Nobody's added anything in. These, we know these are vetted documents. They're protected. They're protecting the buyer, the seller. Everybody's transparent
Yeah.
because that's something you run into a lot of times too. Or sometimes investors will do these and they'll omit things or maybe not tell a seller, what could go wrong in this situation. Maybe they don't want to talk
Yeah.
about the due on sale clause or, what happens if you don't pay me every month, right?
Yeah.
So having the transaction coordinator involved in that is I mean, compared to what you generally make off a real estate transaction, it's a small percentage of it and worth more than I think it's worth more than they charge, but just for your own protection. So yeah, it can be a great way for somebody to be really hands off because it can be very complicated on the back end of that when you're doing that transaction. It helps. Some people are just better at acquisitions. They want to be out there talking to the people, getting the contract signed, and hey, let these people that are really good at what they do, let them handle that piece. It's worth my 10%, whatever, let them handle it. So that's where your transaction coordinators come in, mostly on creative contracts. But a lot of people do use them for cash as well because they just want to be the face of the company. They just want to make the talk and the contract sign, and then here you go.
Yeah.
You get this closing for me, okay? You got this.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's a team. It's a team effort.
That's right.
Yep, you need it. These
That's
are some of like we tell people like when you're dealing in real estate, these are some of like the biggest transactions that go on a daily basis. It's not like you just go into a store. Let me get that house right there. It's not like you're going to get a T-shirt or you're going to get a pair of shoes or something. It's a lot that goes into these these transactions.
Yeah.
And nobody ever sees that part of it,
That's right.
Even when you're just buying your own retail house, you're doing it retail through a realtor, whatever, you're buying your own thing, you know that your realtors, that it's in escrow. What do you know beyond that?
Right.
Nothing. The next thing you know is your closing date, unless there's some hiccups in there that you got to address. That's all you know.
Yeah.
There are so many things going on behind
So
the
many
scenes.
things.
You never know.
Underwriters.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Sometimes there are hiccups and you've got to make addendums to those contracts. And that's where your transaction coordinators, they're taking care of all that. They're not coming back to you and saying, Seth, I need you to do this addendum and get this over to the escrow company and let your buyer know and let the seller know and let, blah, blah. Your transaction coordinators taking all that. They're doing all that. So, I've been really excited I was really excited to just land the position because that was an area that I didn't have a lot of knowledge of prior to then. I knew a little bit because I'd done my own wholesale deals, but as far as the creative side of it, I had no idea, at that point. So I feel really blessed. And like I said, they're great people and they're just very honest and transparent. And I like that, everything's above board and I don't have to worry about anything going wrong. So it's really nice. So I'm enjoying it. And hopefully, at some point I'll be a little more of a subject matter expert on that.
Yeah. Oh, you will.
Yeah.
You will for sure. Yes. And let's take a moment to shout out all the transaction coordinators out there.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the transaction coordinators.
Get the job done.
Yes, and if you are thinking about stepping into the real estate industry, Angel, the company that she was talking about, I believe it was C3. You want to go
Yes.
ahead and get in contact with them if you need, as she said, they help you structure the deals, things of that sort. So make
Yep.
sure you reach out.
Get some help if you're thinking about going creative.
That's
you need
right.
some help, man.
Get some
Yes.
help.
You know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's keep it moving. All right. So, how has your experience as an Airbnb host informed your approach to real estate investing? And what are some of the key challenges and opportunities you've encountered in the short-term rental market?
Well, this is my first one, so I'm by far not, a truly seasoned Airbnb host. I only have one under my belt. But there were
That's
definitely
still a
some-
lot.
Well, even in acquiring the deal, there were a lot of things that came up that I learned, kind of after the fact to look for next time. Is a lot of transitioning. One of the reasons that I purchased this Airbnb specifically was because it was already had a super host, a 5-star rating. It already had tons of bookings. The net earnings for the last 3 years were solid. So there were a lot of great things just kind of walking into this feeling like it's really just turnkey. It was already furnished in good shape. There was nothing that I had to do there. So, and we got it at a deal. So after the fact, after closing and you truly get to the keys and you go in and you really, there were a couple of things that came up that even in the inspection, it didn't show up in the inspection that we had to take care of. So and they were really, to me, kind of obvious things. Again, I'm not, it's in Tampa, I'm in Louisville. So it's not a property that I bought personally myself. But we did order the inspection, and it was kind of like one of those things you expect the inspector to find things that if I walk back through and I see it, I surely would have expected the inspector to see it, right?
Yeah.
But there were no notations about it. So we did, even after we acquired it, we had to put like another $10,000 into it just to make it, because I wanted it to be 100%, everything on point, perfect. There was no way I was going to lose that 5-star rating, so we did put a little bit into it, which was expected. I mean, any Airbnb or short-term, mid-term, whatever, you're going to put a little bit into it anyway, even if it's turnkey. So that was expected, but I've also learned a lot about just the Airbnb market itself. It's kind of fascinating, actually, and I hope this is just one of many that I end up acquiring.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot to learn, like the shifts in seasonal shifts in pricing and all just communication. Like all of a sudden, in my lap, it was kind of weird. Like, oh shoot, somebody booked. I've got this email to send out. You have to, just the communication to the guest, and then finding the right people. Like, I called around for like cleaners and things like that. I don't know if it was just Tampa, but some people had actually wanted like $335 for every cleaning, and that's crazy, right? So anyway, we've got good cleaners and maintenance man and all that stuff, but that was definitely a learning experience too. Just seeing what people charge for certain things, and you're like, wow, like how do they expect you to make money? Stays 2 nights for giggles here. They come and stay 2 nights, and between the 2 nights, the cleaning fee and the Airbnb charge, because Airbnb charges us, right? To list, say you're getting $600, okay? Well, after everything, you're netting about $402, and then they want $335 to unit. So it's definitely been a learning experience, like figuring out where you need to be on things, and but we're rolling now, and we've got. We're kind of fully booked almost all the way through August now. So hopefully those just keep looking up. And like I said, you guys will have to come stay a couple days.
Yes.
Heated pool. It's nice.
Wow.
It's nice.
Yes.
Yep.
That
And
is
look,
awesome.
I have one question. I have one question that kind of goes with the Airbnb. When you got and you guys were talking to the seller, right? I'm curious, like, okay, like the 5-star rating and everything. What was that particular seller? What was his or her motivation to let that go?
Well, he actually has three in Tampa, and this, ironically, is the like he had to get rid of one because he wanted to go in on partnership with another guy in Tennessee on another Airbnb. He's been
Okay.
wanting to get out of Tampa and move into another area. And his other two actually make a lot more money than this one does. So it was like the low end, even though it's absolutely gorgeous, it's still
Yeah.
like the low end for him, right?
Okay.
So his was just really totally money. I
Wow.
told this guy that I wanted in this deal and I had to be in this deal by May 1st. So it has to be done by May 1st. So that was his
Okay.
motivation. So
Wow.
Okay. That's all
we're
right.
going to drop to $75,000 and then we're going to either you're going to take it or we're not going to close by May 1st, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it all worked out
Yeah.
well. But so we knew that was his trigger. He needed money. He wanted to put it into another investment and he had a deadline.
Wow.
That's
So it
awesome.
worked out for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So, how do you approach risk management in your real estate investments? And what are some of the key strategies that you use to minimize your exposure to potential losses?
Well, I mean, I would say for the last couple of years, I basically just wholesale. So as far as risk factors on that, minimal. I mean, I was always transparent about what I was doing. I
Yeah.
was led with the line that really, hey, I'm just acquisition for a great group of guys in the local area who just, looking to help people, want to make sure you guys get what you need, they get what they need. So I was always very honest about that. So there's really, to me, no risk mitigation there. And they knew I was wholesaling it, that I was only acquisitioning and all those always went well. Now that I'm into buying and holding, I think it's going to be a little bit of a learning process. I'm definitely seeing areas in my short-term rental, which could pose risk. So those are some things that this is my first one, so I'm going to have to kind of look into and ask people. Chris James, the one that runs Completely Creative C3, he is an Airbnb guru. So I already told him that we're going to have a conversation because I need some help. So I'm going to have to do that and kind of talk through some of those scenarios because it's new to me. The other property that I picked up that we haven't planned on what exit strategy to use yet is also newer to me. So I'm not sure on that as well. Like it will really depend on the exit strategy.
Yeah.
But one thing that I can just say generally for anybody who doesn't have a buy and hold yet and they're kind of looking to get into that is make sure that you do talk to somebody who's already doing it.
Right.
That's one of the reasons that you go to your local meetups and your RIAs and things like that. There's a lot of people, great people in this business willing to help you for not a penny. They just want to help, they do want to bring value to you. That will, you can sit down and talk to. And those meetups and RIAs are great places to do that. Just, let them know, hey, I'm really just starting to buy and hold. What are some things that I need to look out for along the way? And those people will help you, So again, I'm really going to kind of just take it back to the opening. It's the who, not how again. Guys, when you run into situations in your professional life where you're starting a new venture into something you haven't done before, that's before you even take that first step, start to think about that who is in my life right now who I could really like bend their ear and talk about these things, or better yet, which is how I acquired both of these properties, is who's in my circle right now that I can utilize as either an equity share partner, private money lender. Those people, they already have experience. They've been doing this for a long time. And you get that knowledge free of charge when they become an equity partner in your deal, because I assure you, they're going to do everything right.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere because they got equity in the deal, right?
Yes.
Yep, definitely.
So, think about it that way. Before you start doing these things, stop and just think who in my life can I attach to this piece and help me get further, with
Yes.
the right knowledge for this to be successful. So
Yes.
That's awesome.
That is so awesome.
Let me. I'm curious about. I just want to hear a little bit more about the roundtable with James.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about the roundtable with James and how you help people close their real estate deals? And what are some key strategies that you use to help overcome those challenges in closing successful transactions?
Yes. So we are talking about the one, the only talented Mr. James Hostert.
James,
And
shout out to James.
James is a fabulous closer, and I do host James on Thursday evening in the House of Cards. But yeah, we do. What we do is we ask people to bring their deals. Maybe there are deals that they have where they've had that first conversation with the seller, and they've started to build a little bit of rapport, a little bit of trust, and the seller's basically confirmed at that point they do want to move forward. They're just not ready yet for whatever reason it is. Maybe the person hasn't quite figured out how to talk about some of those objections yet, or talk through some of those objections. Those are the perfect ones we like you to bring, because that's what James specializes in. He can talk through those objections, and at that point, try to get them to close right there on the phone. Okay,
James is a closer.
Yes,
he is, and I've heard some crazy conversations. And some people, they get on hamster wheels and they just keep going through the same thing. They can't they can't jump off. They don't know when to jump off. It's like, oh my God, I'm afraid. What if I do sell this? And what if I do? So James has a great way of trying to get them to jump off that hamster wheel and make a decision. So it can be hard because people do say the craziest things. Or you sometimes you just have a hard time cracking them. Some people are very guarded, and until you can actually build rapport enough to kind of crack through to get to the emotional piece of it, because that's really where you want to be when you're trying to do a deal, and you want to be in touch with their emotional point, because the logical point is always going to be like, it's going to stop them from making that decision. Their emotional will help them to move forward in making that decision. We buy everything emotional, almost everything emotionally, right? Cars, houses. Oh, I love it. It's the best thing ever, right? Even your, cheese you put on your salad,
Sure.
You can't have the fake stuff. You got to have the right stuff, right?
That's right.
It's really basically something we've taught over our life. So that's what you want to be able to tap into, and the easiest way to overcome objections is to tap into that emotional side of the person. And not that the logic can't, because some people will be very straightforward with you. Yeah, I need to sell it now. Just like my Airbnb guy. He knew what he needed. He needed it by this date. He was ready to roll, right? But more than not, you'll have people that are attached to their properties for whatever reason. Maybe they just come across hard times and they're maybe in pre-foreclosure, or, they owe taxes or whatever it is. Maybe they inherited it after a parent who they were very attached to. Maybe they grew up in the home. So you have to touch into that emotional side oftentimes to learn how to take that and move forward with the objections. And one thing that I can tell people all the time is you have to listen. You really have to listen actively, because if somebody's telling you, we're just getting older, and I think we might want to, move down to Atlanta to be with our kids, and we just really don't. It's just a lot to take care of anymore. It's 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, almost a half an acre. You should be like categorizing all that stuff in your mind. So as you're going through the conversation, you have an opportunity to put that back in there again. When they feel like they might be pulling back away, well, we have put spent a lot of time here and put a lot of money in it. Oh no, I know. Good thing that you're talking about, moving on, because that is a lot. You've got to put a roof on it. They already told you that needs a roof. You still got to put a roof on it. I can imagine. Or what if they had a stroke? You'd be like, you're not cutting grass, a half acre of grass, and you just had a stroke. Good Lord. You've got to actively listen to those little things that they say, that's just so you can bring it back up in the conversation and keep that conversation moving forward. So really, objections. I think that's probably one of the biggest things we hear too is like, people want help, and then what do you want help with? I want help with objections. Well, what kind of objections? Because if you're having the right conversations, you're already talking through those objections before you get to the end of the conversation,
So
right?
true.
Because you should have already talked through, like, what's their priority? What's their timeline? Do they have a plan B? Where does the money need to be at? What do they need the money for?
Yeah.
Are they going? Are they buying? Are they going to buy an RV and travel the United States? All those things. If you're not talking to people, you're not getting to the root of everything. If you're not going through those 4 pillars, you are going to have objections because you didn't already talk through them, right?
Yeah.
But if you're taking the proper steps and you're actively listening to pick up on things, when you're having those conversations, you're not going to have objections.
Right.
I know I was at one point taught to have 2 conversations. Like the first call should be about rapport building and this and that. It just never works out for me.
Yeah.
Because I end up in such good conversations with people, sometimes 45 minutes, an hour later, we're still talking. There's not going to be a second conversation. I'm closing this shit. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Okay.
Conversations.
We're done. Right. Yeah, there's not going to be a second call.
Yes.
But then
That's right.
sometimes you have it where, you got a harder nut to crack and it does require a second call. But really, guys, if you're actively listening where you can keep kind of regurgitating some of those things that they're telling you into another point of the conversation, you're not going to run into those objections and you're going to be able to wrap it up in that call.
That's right. That's right. Actively listen the first time. That's what I got.
But guys, though, when people just start, they're so worked up about what they're going to say next because they're new, right? So oh my God, I'm listening, but I'm not really listening to this guy because I'm already looking at my script.
Right.
I'm looking at my script, what I'm going to say next. So, they're missing all these cues instead of just having a conversation.
Right.
Yep.
That's what you should be. You should just be having a conversation. And for me, the minute that they pick up, I'm listening in the background too. Do I hear a dog barking? Do I hear kids running around? Because you bet your butt, I'm going to be like, oh, do I hear babies?
Yeah.
When I get into that conversation about my baby or my grandbaby,
Yes.
I start listening for anything in the background. Do I hear another person talking? Oh, are you married? Is that your husband?
Yeah.
I really try to listen, and I try to be quiet for a minute. I don't care if it's an awkward silence for a moment. I will, if I can hear things going on in the background, I'll stop for a second and just try to pick up on what it is. So that might be my opportunity in. Maybe I hear Jerry Springer on the TV.
Yes.
What's Jerry Springer? Oh my God. I used to watch that all the time, right?
Yes.
Guys, there are so many ways that you can start to build rapport and get through these conversations just by listening. So, that's probably, if I could put anything out there about how closers get it done, that's probably, to me, like one of the biggest things, because you find that way to make that connection, because people buy from people they trust.
That's right.
Yep.
So the quicker you can build rapport and make a connection with that person, the closer you are to getting that contract signed.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's awesome advice.
Wonderful.
That's awesome advice right there.
I'm just soaking it all in, and I hope that you guys are catching it all. And if you don't catch it all the first time, feel free to watch the episode again. All right.
The whole episode.
Yes. All right. So, as someone who loves to help new investors, what advice do you have for people who are just starting out in real estate, and how can they build a successful portfolio without getting discouraged by setbacks or challenges?
I think what I see the most really is just there's so much to learn in this business. There's so much to learn. And so many people are so analytical, they feel like they've got to know it all before they can take that first step. But I would really just encourage you, because I would almost literally bet you $100 if you're interested in real estate today and you jump into a community, just say like Paces or House of Cards or wherever, you jump into a community where they're there to help you out, and you spend the next 6 months watching videos, of how to, instead of just taking direction from one of those people in those groups who takes the time to love on you and tell you what to do. 6 months later, you'll be broke, while the person who hopped in there and said, Angel, what do I need to be doing? I've been watching videos, I've been doing what I need to do, and I tell you, I want you to make 25 offers this week. I want you to check back in with me on Sunday. You text me if you got questions in between, but we're going to check back in this Sunday. And if you don't, lose my number. That person in 6 months compared to that other person might be driving a Lambo. I don't know. But they'll at least have one deal in. I guarantee you that.
Yes.
And that's with no money, no anything. It's okay to not know. It's totally fine to not know. Nobody in here is a know-it-all, right? We're all still learning.
Yes.
But if you can't take direction from people who just want to help you, you're not going to get anywhere. Or you're going to get there way farther off than that person who just took direction and took action.
Wow.
Okay?
So go out there and mess some stuff up.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be a disaster. You're going to be a disaster before you become a master.
Yeah.
But again, find a community first. And like I said, whether it's Faces Free community or you want to hop over to the House of Cards, do that.
Yes.
That's great, because there are people in there that are going to be like, post a question, they're gonna answer. They're gonna be like, oh, this is what you need to do, whatever. There'll be people in there all the time who are willing to JV with you because you have no idea what you're doing, but you were smart enough to take action. And damn it, you got somebody who said yes.
That's right.
Let that person walk you the rest of the way. Let them do it. Get that first deal done, because you're going to have the confidence when you're at the end of that deal to move on to the second, the third, the fourth, whatever.
Yes.
Take action, and then ask who.
Yes.
Ask me in the group chat. Who can help me? I got my first contract. Who can help me? Or hell, I don't even have a contract. Who's got a contract? I got a yes, right?
Yeah. I got a yes without the contract.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So just take action. Just take action. You can learn. Set aside an hour every day to watch some YouTube University or whatever you want to do. That's okay, because we all need to continue learning and find our outlet for that. But until you have your first deal under your belt, take action more than you're taking time to learn.
Yes.
Yep.
Just plug in an hour a day on your calendar, watch something, and the rest of the time you should be taking action.
Yes.
Definitely.
Absolutely love it. Yes. And if you haven't already, make sure that you join the House of Cards community with Chris James, Jesse Stanton. They have a group on Facebook. Wonderful, wonderful people. Also, Pace is sub 2. They have a creative public group. You can just go on Facebook and join that group as well. The resources are out there, as Angel said. You just got to take the action.
Yep.
So, Angel, before we let you go, the people have heard you. They've taken so much information in from you, but now they want to reach out to you. How do they get in contact with you?
You can find me on Facebook, Angel Miller, and then on Instagram, I'm Angel Miller 444.
Yes.
Yeah, and then if they want to call me, they're welcome to call me at 502-909-0969.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Reach out.
And we'll put those down in the
If you
description.
help. And I'm a good connector too, guys. So sometimes, you just might need to be connected with somebody who, I think you're a bit, better fit with. Maybe who you're in a situation where I know somebody's handled that before. I can connect you with that person. If you need a buyer, I can connect you with that person.
Yes.
So I'm a good connector too, and you're always welcome to reach out, and I'm happy to help wherever I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We love Angel, guys. Angel has been there with us, through our whole real estate journey, and we're just so grateful.
From the
Everything
beginning.
she said is true. Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Yep. Yep, definitely. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you so much, Angel, for joining us. This has been so good. We took so much from this. Again, guys, this has been episode 9 of Conversations with SNL.
Yep, I'm Seth.
I'm Lashia.
And together,
We make Sequoia live in REI. Thank you, Angel.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Love you guys.
Love you.
Having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah.